I just think when you've got someone like Roy on the pitch, you feel secure, don't you? You're going to do your job.
All right, all right. You can go back to Sky. You can go back. So I said some lovely things about you, Roy.
When you've got Roy sat next to you in the studio, you feel really safe, and it's like...
I told you, Roy. I told you I'd say some lovely things about you.
Roy this, Roy that. Roy's my friend.
Make sure you listen to the best midfielders.
He's not listening to this, man.
Yes, he is.
He wouldn't subscribe to BBC Sounds.
You don't know that, though, do you? Maybe he is. Maybe he's a keen subscriber.
A meeting of two of the game's senior statesmen, but it was the youngster Sir Alex Ferguson who would emerge triumphant this time. Bobby Robson's team started well. Gary Speed's early volley cleared off the line by Phil Neville, but gradually the champions hit their stride. Ruud Van Nistelrooy stretched Shay Given. It was a sign of things to come. All good stuff for the spectators, but some of them would surely have preferred to have been on the pitch. But the spirits of Beckham and his fellow substitutes were lifted after 25 minutes. Van Nistelrooy put the home side ahead. He's now scored in each of his last 6 games. 1-0 to Manchester United. 5 minutes before the break, Newcastle thought they were back in it, but Solano's goal was disallowed. The referee ruled he'd shoved Silvestre. And despite Rob Lee's best efforts, Newcastle remained 1 down at half-time. After the restart, the home side began to play with a greater fluency and went 2 up. Paul Scholes with the 50th Premiership goal of his career and United's 50th of the season. They were rampant after that and soon had another. Roy Keane's surge gifting Scholes their 3rd. But Newcastle have a resilience about them these days and they didn't give up. With 20 minutes to go, Alan Shearer got above Gary Neville, 3-1. Earlier in the season, Manchester United might have wobbled after that. Not this time. Solskjaer came close to restoring their 3-goal lead. And by the time David Beckham got on as a late substitute, the game had been won. The champions firmly back on course as they look to retain their title. Jim Cockin, Sky News.
So that's 6 runs on the spin now, you're up to 2nd. Can you believe the turnaround?
Well, I can believe it because we're capable of that. I don't think anyone in the game would ignore the fact we can do these things, but we have given ourselves a mountain to climb.
Match commentators at the Valley, Brian Marwood and Alan Parry. Charlton 10th, they're on from 25 games, which actually is more than they had at the same stage last season, and they finished 9th. Manchester United 3rd on 51 points, a point behind Liverpool and Newcastle. If they win, of course, today, the champions, they will go back to the top of the table, 2 points ahead of Liverpool. Even a draw, in fact, would see them return to the leadership on goal difference. Manchester United playing in their change strip today of white shirts and black shorts. Oh, lovely skill by Luke Young. Got a bit carried away then. Here's Scholes. And again. Keane. Great run from Solskjaer. He's picked him out beautifully. Giggs finally seems to have overcome that ankle problem. Scholes finds Keane. What a good effort that was, and a fine anticipating save by Kylie. But
Tell you what, Alan, you don't appreciate what a great strike this is, because as his ball is set up for him, that really is in an area of the field where he has to keep his concentration. You know, it really is about making sure United don't have too much room to play in, and that's exactly what they've done. They've made it very difficult for the midfield four of Beckham, Keanes, Scholes and Giggs to have any real time and room on the ball. Just look how deep Roy Keane is dropping to just try and get on the ball.
And what a ball that was. Solskjaer getting in behind the defender. And what a finish by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. A brilliant United goal.
Well, how deep I talked about Roy Keane had got. It's a fabulous ball. It really is one of the balls of the season. Just look at the distance here. He pings it really to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but again, you've got to question the defending. And it's over Fisher's head. Fish pulled him back, actually, could quite easily have given a penalty, the referee. But once Solskjaer is in this position, you know there's only one thing on his mind, and that's to finish. And he does it as coolly and as expertly as anybody that there is in the Premier League these days.
Keane. Now Scholes. On it goes to Beckham. Really skied the cross. Keane brings it down beautifully, and Solskjaer's shot just wide. Giggs dispossessed. And Svensson gets his first touch. Wasn't the best ball back in by Lisby. He's got to really race back now as United break with Keane. Beckham to his right. Solskjaer and Giggs ahead of him. And he picks out Giggs. Great effort, and a very good save by Kylie, but the rebound turned in, as usual, by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's 2-0 to United. It might just be game, set, match.
Well, they're furious, the Charlton players, and perhaps they've got some sort of credentials for a free kick against Ryan Giggs. It's a ball from David Beckham, but eventually gets to a great drive again from Roy Keane. And it's Charlton's attack that's now turned into Charlton defending, but as this ball from Beckham, Charlton felt incensed. They thought there was just a nudge from Ryan Giggs, but what a fabulous strike on the turn from the Welsh international. And it's a half chance, that's all it is for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And there's the claim that Charlton felt there was a free kick.
Manchester United's roll continues. 11 wins from their last 12 Premiership matches. They've now moved on to 54 points. They're back on top of the FA Barclaycard Premiership.
Had 1 or 2 off the line. I thought our heads dropped a little bit, but of course the goal lifted them just in half time. And the second half, but Diego Forlan had one off the line and Ollie over the ball. That's the little bit of luck you need to get to finals, isn't it?
Yeah, well, sometimes you have to make your own luck. You know, you said we tried, and that's our job. You know, this club deserves to be in European Cup finals, and the players have, you know, we blew it. It's as simple as that.
How difficult is that to accept? Because 2 legs over Leverkusen, it was a great opportunity, wasn't it?
Exactly. You know, these chances don't come along very often, and you know, hopefully we won't regret it. You know, well, we do regret it, of course, but as I said, you know, it's very disappointing. You know, it's an understatement.
Particularly the way you played in the 2 games against Deportivo as well. There was a lot of hope for this semi-final, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, that means nothing. You know, our aim was to get to the final and to win it. As I said, this is where I feel the club belongs, and you know, disaster.
Okay, thanks, Roy. Cheers.
For the second year running.
Oh, a mistake by Silvestre.
Good players don't necessarily make a good team, and you know, we've not done the business. It's as simple as that, and people can say all they want. You know, Arsenal are favourites now for the league. Obviously, performance against Middlesbrough knocked us out of the cup. Performance last week on our European Cup. So no excuses. You know, I think there's a lot of cover-up sometimes, but the players need to stand up and be counted, and I'm not sure that happens at this club.
2,000 years later. 2,000 years later.